Stephen Calabresi's concept of the unitary executive relies on the same incorrect model of how society processes information as industrial central planning and dangerous utopian movements in general. They assume the sharing of information across vantage points is so perfect that there is, in effect, a single vantage point. But the problem our written laws have evolved to solve through property rights and distributed decision-making is that information is not perfect, and the resulting problem of coordinating independent actors to act on behalf of the benefit of others when each person lives in his own private reality, sharing little information in common with others. A king, a dictator, a scientist in a lab, and a person living alone in the woods all have one thing in common. They have a single vantage point at which all information is known and from which all action is directed. From that point, the problem is deciding what to do to best benefit yourself based on that information. The problem, then, is imagining society as this single self. If you assume the voters know everything, if voters know all resources and preferences, including the values of minority voters, and if you assume the single executive can order all actions that are optimal based on that information, then anybody not acting in this chain from information to action will create a less optimal outcome. If voters are the eyes, the collective perception is the brain, and the executive branch employees are the arms, then of course any severing of the body will impair its function. This simplified model of the world, which might have been somewhat accurate in primitive forms of society from which we have progressed, seems to be the entire intellectual foundation supporting the unitary executive. In reality, the information known to voters collectively, the information transmitted to a president in a single election every 4 years, and the observations of local actions of executive branch employees are all fragmented and imperfect. Our form of government is evolved to overcome this problem by distributing incentives and decision-making to local decision-makers, not to operate as if this information problem doesn't exist. To understand the dangerous flaws and misconceptions in the legal support of Calabresi's unitary executive, read antoninscalia.com/unitaryexecutive.pdf.